Suresh is the chairman of the National Building Code. The National Building Code at one time was at 60,000 feet, and we never knew what had to be done with it. It was a recommendatory document, and a lot of municipalities didn't even bother to look at it. But that's not the case now. Parts of the National Building Code are now integrated into the building bylaws of the cities, which is a very, very positive thing in many ways. And that's where I thought Mr. Suresh's contribution has been huge in making sure that small things like safety, like standards for various issues, these were included in the National Building Code, which has become a document that people like you and me can actually refer to and understand. It's not just jargon, it's something that all of us should understand. So over to you, Mr. Suresh.
What a pleasure to join this distinguished group here and also hear from Mai and Shane, the type of initiatives being done not only in the overall global context, as Mai said, and also the local initiatives done in Ireland. In India, water, of course, is what is supposed to be one which is worshipped one. The whatever is a lifeline, the river and each one of them, whether Ganga or Yamuna or all the source of water is what is lifeline component there. Among the Panchabhuta, the jal is a very important component which we respect, revere and do that. But are we doing that particular thing the right way to respect that? No, because large number of water bodies that we have, be it river or rivulets or lakes or airy or whatever, various words which are told, ponds, etc., all of them are being destroyed increasingly because what is the outfall from one particular area would be the input water for the next city coming. All along the Ganga, you have roughly around 98 odd cities which are there, and each one of them, and most of the civilizations have been on banks of rivers, be it Narmada or Kaveri or Ganga or Yamuna, whichever, or Godavari, etc., are there. So my point is, in spite of the fact that water is the most important, you yourself a history there, how Fatehpur Sikri, they had to shift to Agra because the problem of water not being, the water just not being there, so they shift that particular thing to Agra. You're aware of all that. So the limited point on which we want to say is why with the increasing population from whatever lower level of around 32 crores in the time of independence to 142 crores, 110 crores getting added in about 76 years time period, and more so in the recent time period from 2001 to 2023, we are just about 100 crores and we are about 142. 40 crores getting in about 20 years' time. So the demand for water with the increased population is phenomenal. And it is not only the population demand, but also the urbanization also has taken a large way. The move from the rural to the urban shift, which also puts a lot of demand on water. So let's try to look at it. What does a country look at it from point of view of what type of water is required for human life for all purposes together? 135 liters per head per day or 45 gallons is what have been identified. But all our efforts now is to see that we are never able to get a 24/7 water, excepting maybe in around a dozen cities of out of the 7,300 odd cities of the country. That's the situation today, where 24/7 you get water. Water from the tap you can drink. The only city which has done recently is Bhubaneswar. Of all the cities whereas all over, whether you go in Europe, I was in New Zealand, in Auckland and Australia, you can all, right from the tap, you can take the water and drink, and water from the tap. But none of the Indian cities are able to provide that luxury idea to go through one more treatment units of nature, to go through one more process over there. So one is at the level of the quantity level. How is it that we can bring down the demand for water from that level of 135 for drinking purposes, cooking purposes, washing purposes, very other needs which are per capita needs? Can you bring down to, say, around 1/3 of that to about 90 liters per head per day? Can we do that? And that's the area on which a series of initiatives have been taken. I'm also the chairman for the Indian Green Building Council, where water efficiency is a very important component. So a series of initiatives have been taken up, which are all reflected in the National Building Code, Part 9, Plumbing Services on Water Supply and the Wastewater Treatment. So water and wastewater has an umbilical relationship because 80% of all the water that is being consumed over there, more than 80, becomes a part of either sullage or sewage. Sullage is a grey water and sewage is a black water where fecal matters get over there. Now, all over the world, developed countries, there has been a phenomenal amount of effort over the developed countries where all the wastewater has been completely recycled through sewage treatment plants and through primary, secondary and tertiary treatment, and the recycled water is brought back for use for various purposes, including portability, as you would see in Singapore, one of the great cities, and has come there, where they have the system of what is called 100% of recycled water. They don't even call it recycled water. They call that as the new water. The W being common for new and water. That is the Singapore one. Also in Israel. So, but none of the Indian cities has demonstrated its capacity or ability to have recycled water. Most of the cities don't even have proper sewerage and sewage treatment plant, leave alone treating and getting back. If only we can do that, take my word, your demand for fresh new water from that 135 liters per head per day can be brought down to as low as about 70 liters per head per day. And imagine with all the additional population, new water source not being there, we can make it happen. So we need to have a major thrust as far as India is concerned on the Jal Jeevan or the water initiatives being taken either by the Ministry of Water Resources or by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which is all reflected in the city development agenda, which will be reflected in the building bylaws and regulations and development control rules. And Bombay is the only one which has got a separate, and Delhi also a separate water supply rules also along with the building rules. By the way, the only two cities which has got separate water supply rules and also drainage rules, in addition to the building development rules, are Delhi and Mumbai. So the idea is to see how the water consumption can be brought on the building code to identify a series of initiatives on conservation. And first is all the low flow fixtures, a lot of joint effort between us and NAREDCO and the IGBC and Indian Plumbing Association being taken. How every one of the tap when you open, instead of the water gushing out, how we can bring down low flow fixtures into it in a very big way. And I was really surprised to find way back about 6 years back, they have made it mandatory and compulsory. It is no more a recommendatory decision. Australia and New Zealand has made it compulsory. You cannot sell in the market anything other than with these low flow fixtures there. You have just like the ratings that you put over the 5-star rating over the star rating that you have on all those things on the energy one. Every one of those things, be it a flushing tank or a washing machine, has to have a 6-star rating for water resources coming out. How much amount of water saving can be done? See, look at the amount of detailing they have gone. And you can't sell any other product in the market unless you have both the energy rating and the water rating being put up. We are just in the very starting point of the particular one on that. Some initiatives have started in that, just like the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, a new body called the Bureau of Water Efficiency has just recently been set in the Ministry of Water Resource Jal Shakti ministry there. Some common initiatives have been done through IAPMO as well as the for the testing of all these particular ones. So one is in terms of low flow fixtures we use there, number one. That means your demand side, lot of action is required. Lot of things also for supply side. So demand side, what all things can be done at a residential level and the office level, hotel, hospitals, offices, factories are all being identified to bring down the demand side on. And the other component that will be coming is a series of initiatives, as rightly, very briefly indicated, rainwater harvesting and to recharge the aquifer and aquifer recharging. Whatever water you take out through underground pumping, and many of the cities, the water levels has gone down from what was very high of the order of around 20 feet, 30 feet, has gone down 300, 400 feet down over there, because we are not put back to the aquifer the water which is available. And during the rain period, we have good intensity of rainfall coming all over, but we are not been putting back. Imagine all the step wells that you have in Rajasthan and various other area, or a series of areas and columns in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra Pradesh, all those areas, we have to get back those things back into life again. Rejuvenation of the schemes, I am glad mention of the lake rejuvenation has been mentioned by Mai in Bangalore and other. But you also have good lakes and also lakes with fire being there, like Belandur Lake also, because all the waste is coming. So 2-3 areas we need to do is not only to see that all the water bodies, be it on rivers and water sources, and including lakes and ponds and other bodies, are conserved and retained, and no pollution can come into the particular city. That's the biggest thing. All your sewage and sullage should not go into that. Whatever the holiest of places like Banaras, of course things have changed now, is unholiest because all the sewage has gone into the water. You can't even consume that. So you got to ensure that no further waste gets into like Yamuna, whatever. The biggest thing that we can contribute to that, sullage and sewage from all your houses, that should be done through the treatment plan only after the whole treatment is over with the BOD level. BOD is the biological oxygen demand at a reasonably good level, so that even beyond people, even the water life can be, marine life and water life, river life can be restored. We need a lot of things to be done in that area. We might be able to give me a 4 out of 10 in the Indian cities context with what I know. But then I think a lot of these new initiatives on the Jal Shakti one, and also the 500 Amrut cities going to about 3,800 cities now to be taken, or where water supply and sanitation is a very major component. Besides Swachh Bharat Mission's 2.0 version also has come. Something can come in that. But I think the most important thing is the psychological, our whole mindscape. We can't think in terms of reuse of the water, which is if it's the bad water and if it's the black water or the sewage water being recycled back, can I drink that at the other end of the particular thing is even if it's don't drink it at this level, because potable drinking water out of the 135 liters, you'll be surprised to know it's only of the order. Drinking and cooking is only of the order of around each person around 2 to 5 liters. That's all we require for cooking. But washing and bathing will require another about 20. But even then, even if you can't use it for those particular, other use can be done. Flushing, every time you go 4 to 5 times, or we go into the toilets over there from morning till evening, minimum of the order. So every time you flush that, 12 liters of water goes down there. You don't require the potable drinking water to get into the flushing tanks there. The recycled water can easily go. So therefore, it's now become getting into the, already in the building code is there, and now it's getting into large number of things to ensure that all those flushing water with alternate pipes with a separate tank can be there. So that means the demand for fresh water can come down in a very large way. Scientifically, and all over. Israel, Singapore, Taiwan has done phenomenal. I've told about both New Zealand and Australia. Recent example, having seen it so close to our life. We need to really gather ourselves, and substantial amount of dissemination for citizens and communities are needed to say that we got to really find, if you want to change the landscape of the country, the mindscape has to change in a very large way. And people have to be told that this is the only way we have an answer to come, especially with the increasing population. Can you believe a 30 crores population, 32 crores population, we have 140 is going to become 150 and 160 crores or 1.6 billion by 2050. The demand of water requires so much. So you got to see how this can be done. So provisions are available in the National Building Code in Part 9 plumbing service on water supply, and how to use that in an efficient manner, in an economic manner, and also environment friendly manner. But we got to see that they are being adopted. Some of the leading builders, maybe under the Confederation of Real Estate Developers Association of India called CREDAI, and equally important, the National Real Estate Development Council, which Ananda's organization is, I'm sure she will talk on that. They are
the discerning ones, maybe I can list maybe around 1,000 odd for the whole country. They are increasingly aware, and those particular builders are increasingly trying to intervene. But that's not the whole country. The country is subcontinental proportion. It's about 7,003. Maybe top 200 cities where they're all operating. Even some few tier 2 cities and 3 cities, something is happening reasonably well, if not most. But other cities, not even that is available. Predominantly, they don't have a piped water supply coming. It's mostly through hand pump and other related ones. But what can be? They don't even have now Swachh Bharat mission has ensured toilet comes into all the houses. But the disposal from the toilet, you'll be surprised in only 400 cities out of 7,000 areas has sewerage. So that you can put into it. Otherwise, everything is going to septic tank, and those septic tanks are also put where sources where water pumps are there. So how those pollution area and the source of water, we are able to control that. So a series of initiatives are required, at least according to me, for the top 500 cities which are around 1 lakh plus population. We can do phenomenally large, and we have all the municipal corporation, about 170 odd cities are there. We can do major changes there. I think the big cities have got a sewage treatment plant. Shocking. I'm sure Delhi, what percentage of all the sewage water is treated before they pump all the effluent water into Yamuna, or in Mumbai, everything goes into the ocean. All of us aware that. I think these are areas and well under control. Developed countries have contributed in a very large way to ensure on sanitation, hygiene, and water and wastewater as a very major area of come. Even though requirements technically, technologically, there are a lot of technology available to deal with that, not only for big cities, including mechanization and large sewage treatment. The whole idea is no more to take the end of the city and have a STP there. They are putting out decentralized one. Can you put one for Dwarka, one in Rohini? So all of them depending upon a few sewage treatment plants, because deep pipelines being taken, we can do that. Yeah, small sized units are also can be done decentralized in a big way. Technology is available. Even if you don't have good money, your local traditional methodology of the DWAT systems which are available for taking care of the sewage and sullage, we can do that for various states or cities. What is required, therefore, is to have two things. One is the regulatory framework. Is it available? Yes. But the two important, compliance by the people and enforcement by the authorities. Both the areas, we are caught with our pants down. Area. And both at the, as I said, excepting for some discerning, I'm sure Ananda can indicate what percentage of all the real estate developers under the NAREDCO are strictly following that, even though they would all like to do that. I gave a percentage which is not. But at the same time, I got a phenomenal amount of initiatives which has come now in the climate change agenda. One of the major thing is coming on net zero energy, net zero water, and net zero waste. All the three leading to net zero carbon. So decarbonize the environment to achieve that by 2050. Developed countries have put, China has put 2060, India has put 2070, because for achieving for a country of subcontinental proportion is about 1.5 or 6 billion. We are number one in the world is 1.42 now. Not a great honor, but that's a demand for more populations. Demographic demand brings in enormous requirement of water supply. So all the more reason, conservation of water, and so that even if you are able to get on 50 liters per head per day, 50, leave alone the 135 liter, you can't use the same water for your washing your car, washing your garden water need not be from the same municipal water supply. That's exactly what's happening there. It's criminal to do all that. So according to us, that I'm now the chairman, I'm working on the 2025 version of the National Building Code. We had the 70 version, 83 version, 2005, 2016. Latest version is going to come 2 years from now, keeping in view the Sustainable Development Goal 2030 goals, where two of those goals are related to water and life, etc. Some of these things will come in terms of requirement level and what can be given. So there were demand side coming, supply side people have to do. Unfortunately, water supply in all the states, municipal corporation do not do that. They are all being done by parastatal bodies like water supply and sewerage boards or Jal Nigams or water authorities or sewage authorities, and only the requirements. So city authorities are not accepting the city of Mumbai, where they have the own water supply scheme done by the municipal corporation itself. In all other cases, not being. There's also another area which is, and when I checked it with the Auckland City Council over there, they themselves deal with that. They deal with water supply, they deal with sewerage, they also deal with all the regulatory controls in that. And very strict controls are there for all these areas in terms of consumption level 1. So net zero water is the latest one to see, so that zero liquid discharge comes into it. From whatever you use, consume that, recycle that, reuse that particular thing in your own particular area for various purposes, be it on air conditioning water, or whether you want it for landscaping, or want to use it for construction water. There are various uses by which construction water is a very major area which we can use with certain amount of treatment level. You can do that, including curing, etc., etc. We have to achieve. We were somewhere around 4 out of 10. To achieve the 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 or 8, to reach those levels which most of the developed countries have reached, we have to really pull up our socks and do enormous amount of thing at the builders level, developers level, consumers level. But I am very happy, Jayashree. I want to say the Apartment Owners Association and the consumer societies which are there, either by under any Apartment Ownership Act, any act, they are increasingly, or they are at the end of the day, they are the one to supply it, because builders are gone. They have to maintain those areas, so they have to ensure that they are ready to take into some of the initiatives over there, which was not done by builders. But now it has become compulsory that under the Environmental Impact Assessment Authorities, people under state SCIAA or the central government for large infra projects, to make it compulsory that a project will not get a clearance for environment clearance unless you provide on water and wastewater all these particular system for how do you use that, including twin piping systems over there, or even, as I said, they're slowly coming into the rating and water rating and other related area, how we can deal with that. And we have to have phenomenal amount of dissemination of information and the community participation coming in this area, a massive amount of awareness creation, appreciation creation, and so the application comes in a large way, and that needs to be done. Quite often when misinformation, disinformation, lack of information, you don't get the right information on this area. Lot of work. So therefore, some of the initiatives you people are undertaking, some level, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation are also putting some effort in this area, but little, not in terms of in-depth application there, but some efforts are there. Large number of NGOs are working. I personally feel that we could also make use of a large number of NGOs working in the sector on water, and Watson is a very important group there. We should get them active in this particular one. I think I'll stop at that. I'll keep on rambling. It doesn't good. Let's hear from them.
Yeah.
And then we'll respond.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also want to say that when some of the things that Mr. Suresh talked about, at the city levels, the citizens have become active. And I covered a story. I wrote a story in Bangalore where people were following the norms. They had an STP. They had processed their water, and the excess water that they had, they were releasing into the Belandur Lake, but it was treated water. Yeah. What happened was that the NGT said no water to be sent into the lake. Now these people had thousands of kiloliters of water and they didn't know what to do with it, because suddenly NGT didn't see that this was treated water. So you see, at the government levels, and unless the citizens are part of that process of changing the norms, the citizens are left holding the baby. They don't know what to do. And the same thing happened if you read, there's a fantastic book that was written about cleaning the Ganga. At that point, what they did was they did not make STPs, the sewage treatment plants. Along the entire length of the Ganga, there were sewage treatment plants which were defunct. They did not give them operational money. One was operation and maintenance, and the second thing was they were not given electricity by the electricity boards because it was not priority. All that the Ganga mission had to do was get the power, give them operational costs, and Ganga got cleaned. So you see, it's not that Ganga is 100% clean, but it is one of the most successful enterprises that we've got in our country. And it was only because they were that authority, the NMCG, was given the power to override many other small local authorities. We have a huge multiplicity of authorities, and that does not make for good governance.